So we've changed our SAST Rules team meeting from weekly, and everyone in vulnerability research being encouraged to attend along with our SAST Rules team, to the vulnerability research team being optional, because most of the coordination has been async has worked really, really well, and changing instead to having a keeping that async and also doing having each vulnerability researcher having a one-on-one periodically with each contractor, to using that as a method, plus having this meeting, but making it, again, vulnerability research is optional to make sure their time is well spent. But I want to still hear from everybody on how things are going and what we can improve on, et cetera, and doing that every 2 weeks. So that's what this is about. Also, in the normal and common GitLab way, plan to put this the recordings of this meeting on GitLab unfiltered. We're really, really big on transparency. Unless anybody has a problem with that, I'm planning to do that. So that basically these meetings will be public. I mean, the work you're doing is all public anyway, working in the open source part of the product. So any concerns with putting these on GitLab unfiltered? Okay, great. So we talked about the new, having the agenda here, the new form of the meeting every other week, new agenda, et cetera. So next is what are folks excited about? And what I'd say I'm first excited about is, the team is delivering work at a really decent pace. So much we're working harder than expected to create more backlog of items to work. That's a good problem to have. That's a great problem to have. Isaac has taken the lead on this, but that's just wanted to mention that's great. So what are the things are folks excited about, or other things that people are excited about in this project?
So I'm excited about because of working with GitLab is more exciting. So the team and some of the parts are pretty new to me, like when I was starting this project. So I got to learn the same graph analysis, SAST rule analysis and everything. So learning new things is pretty exciting as well. So yeah, that about it. And also the people that work in this GitLab, Isaac, Dinesh, and Michael, the people I met. So those people are very helpful for us. So that is pretty exciting as well to work with this team. So yeah.
Thanks. That's great to hear. Anybody else?
So for me,
Go ahead.
yeah. So for me, I love the work, honestly, because with every rule and with every issue, you have to do a lot of research and your learning curve is great, because every framework and everything. So that is the best part. And, of course, working with GitLab team, everyone is so, helpful and humble and nice. So it's really good.
I am totally excited about people and professional in our team. Yeah, it's so deeply minded people, and I enjoyed working with you. So
Great, thanks, Madam. But when we have things in the agenda, everybody who has something to say, that's great. If you don't have something to say, that's totally fine too. Right? We don't need to do it. We don't need to do a round robin on everybody, but I definitely want to hear from everyone that has a thought. But it's not an expectation that everyone has something to say. So, cool. Any other impressions on that? So, my next question in the agenda: anything that people are concerned about? I mean, I mentioned the one I'm concerned about is the team's doing a great job. We are running out of the backlog faster than you all can work to the backlog. So that's a concern, but I already mentioned that. Any concerns that anyone has? Things we should improve upon? Totally fine? No? So what are some new things we should try? I had 2 ideas to start is potentially using GitLab Duo AI in this team, which Jason is working on setting this up on an account that has access with an Ultimate license. So GitLab Duo does code completion as you type using AI, making suggestions, and also you can write things like create a method that does XYZ, and it'll write the code for you. It may not be perfect because it's AI. And you can also do other things like, improve this code from, fix the bug in this code or refactor this code from Python to Java or whatever, and it can do that. So it's a new feature, newish feature in GitLab, and we want to make sure this team has access to it. Employees of GitLab have access to it, but since many of you are on the contractor side, you don't have access by default. So we're working on setting that up. Nasir and I did a little walkthrough of potential ways to do that when we happened to catch up last week. And Nasir, you said you've used some of our competitor stuff, and
Yeah.
which is good. And that's great. But do you have any impressions of how GitLab Duo and things like it might be able to help those working on this team?
Yeah, I think it could be very useful, especially when you're writing stuff, when you're writing a rule and you're stuck on something and you feel like, I don't understand how this will, how to change this to fit the pattern that you want to detect. And, you can just ask the GitLab Duo to find out for you, and it will suggest you examples on how you can do that. You may need to do a bit of a, conversation with it to get to the point. But it's really helpful with those kinds of things. It also really helps a lot with the real world apps that we're doing. It can write a lot of code for you. It can fix issues for you. Like you get an error, you just feed it to GitLab Duo that this is the error I'm getting, and it can find out details and it can suggest you can do this to fix it. And that's really helpful with what we're doing here.
So it's a little bit, thanks, Nasir. It's a little bit so it takes some getting used to, like Nasir said, and it's just it's a different way of doing things. Not different bad, just different. So you have to get used to it. And some people really love working with things like this. Some people really don't like it when they first try it, and some people don't like it ever, and that's totally fine. Like it's a personal preference. That's some of the impression. So we're we're working on getting everybody access so that you can use it, and then maybe we'll do a Nasir, since you've used similar things, maybe we do a little demo, you and I, on you using it as you work, and we can record it for everybody to see, since you have experience with similar things.
Yeah, sure.
It'd be great. So next is another thing we could try is someone mentioned in the last week or so we should move our updates, our daily updates, to a different channel. So I did get that new channel created, and I've seen that people already are starting to put it in there. So that will separate out the discussions in our main channel to the updates in the different channel. So make us a little bit more efficient. So that is now created. And that's a great, I mean, it's a very small thing, but it's a great idea to make us a little bit more efficient and maybe reduce the cognitive load. I got a message over here. I should read it. Oh, wait, it's a status message. I don't care that much versus that. So those kinds of things are good. What are the things should we potentially try?
Wayne, maybe I'm just giving a little bit of maybe a slightly different perspective. And maybe you're doing this right now internally, but as developers are fixing issues, some element of knowledge management, some of the common patterns and resolutions and even aspects of around that. Is there right now any practice of capturing that and maybe using for the broader teams visibility? Maybe that's being already practiced. I'm not aware of.
That's a great question, Anu. So what would an example of that be? Actual or theoretical?
Well, somewhat, when you're talking about when you're doing certain types of problems, maybe certain classes of issues, maybe as we encounter more than one such issue, maybe we can do a small. Here's a certain class of solving this particular type of problem, right? And that way, somebody else doesn't have to go through the discovery process all over again.
That's great.
Right?
So I think I get what you're saying. I think that'd be great. And usually what we do, and Carla and Dinesh, correct me if I'm wrong, we would normally do things like this, perhaps via a handbook page or even just a markdown document in a project that people update, and handbook is overkill for this. So I think a markdown page in a project to collect. So it's just basically, you know, formatted text page that is viewed as a web page, but anybody can edit. And we can start with that. As you know, here's how I solve this kind of, when we're seeing those common things. I think that would be great to do. Would that be right, Dinesh and Carla? I mean, that's where I first go to that on that.
Yes, so right now on SAST Rules, we do have those checklists that we tend to follow. And I know that Jason, as part of his onboarding on the SAST Rules project, he wanted to make quite a few additions to that list. And I think this would be a good place maybe to begin with. So if we or anyone really finds any optimization to the process or better ways to do it, especially regarding GitLab Duo that will shortly become available, then that might be documented as part of this list. And feel free to raise MRs to update it in any way you see fit.
Yeah, our team also
Also,
has a run
sorry,
book,
go ahead, Carla.
where we've kind of got a bunch of information. We've split my teams, we look after import and integrations. I'll paste a link to our run book in the Google Doc, so you can take a look at it, but it's just kind of like a place where we've just dumped a whole lot of important information that isn't sort of, is useful for the team only and not for the handbook necessarily.
That's great. Thanks.
Also,
So
Michael
using run books also, I think, is a good way to do things as well. Separate from like, I think it's a good way to think about it. But Nasir, you were saying.
Yeah, I had a brief chat with Michael some weeks back. He had some suggestions on how certain rules should be written, sort of like a best practices on you know, they function the same way, but they should be written in a certain way. And he said that he would be working on creating a page for that or something, but I didn't really follow up with him. So maybe he should be involved in this too, since he had some ideas on this.
Does anyone need any help with anything? And Carla, looks like you have the first item.
Yeah, I just I'm kind of following up on something that needs to be done. We want to add you all to our collaborators group, so that, because a lot of your MRs have been flagged as community contributions. So if I need your usernames basically for that, but also one of the requirements for external contractors is they have a sort of -ext postfix sort of as a suffix to your usernames. And I've just put a link in the document about where you can edit your username. So if nothing is clear, just message me directly about that. Yeah. I might add a link to the handbook page as well, where this is sort of stipulated.
Thanks, Carla, and thanks for helping with this. If you could create an issue saying, you know, everyone on this team, please do X and Y, and like they can check off their names as they do it and add the info, that'd be great. And then we can coordinate async on that.
Hey,
In addition to Slack. But Bobby, you're saying?
yeah, sorry. Carla, the link that you have shared, I don't think we have access to it.
Oh, okay. It's possible that it might be private then. Okay. I didn't realize that. Wayne, do you want me to create an issue, or can people just put their handle in this document? Because then I'd have to assign it to everyone, and I don't actually have their handles.
Yeah, that's probably easier.
To assign it to them.
Here, does everybody have access to the doc that we're working from that's linked to the meeting?
That would be great. Thanks.
If somebody doesn't have access, I know Google Doc access has not been perfect in all cases or easy in all cases. So either put it in this document or put it in Slack. Either way is fine. Does that work for you, Carla? Yeah, okay.
And something I'm wondering is that maybe we could add this subgroup that I linked to that already includes all contractors as a subgroup of the official contractors instead of adding each account individually one by one. If that's possible, then we have a single source of truth. Might be a little bit more easier to maintain going forward, but maybe it's not. So I'll let you check.
Case that up if you want. I have a feeling there's probably a very standard way of treating it, but if they already have subgroups and we can create one, then for sure.
Sounds good. Anything else that anyone could use help with on anything? So last in our kind of structured agenda, anyone have thanks or appreciation for someone else on the team? What I'd say is thanks, Carla, for shadowing me this week. You've only been doing it for a day and an hour, but you've helped me on so much already. So really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Any other topics that one little topic is it's very, when we have agenda docs like this, you'll see that, if you're in the doc, you see a lot of us typing as we're talking or typing what other people said. Is feel free to review this document in advance, add asynchronously, add items to it, add commentary to it. And even during the meeting, if you read ahead, let's say you didn't read the document in advance, just totally fine. If you read ahead and have a comment on something or thought of something, type it in advance if you'd like to, and then just put your name and colon and your comment. And that lets others read ahead, but also make sure, everybody is heard. And we also have good notes in the meeting as well. So just something to consider. It's very non-obvious for those who haven't been working with GitLab for a while, but that's kind of our culture and way of operating our practices, but that's something to do as well. Great. Anything else that anyone wants to discuss? Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Nothing else from
Appreciate
me.
all the hard work.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.